And like most of you here, I'm also a student at the University of Nevada. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you and say that for most of my life, I was not the least bit interested in politics. I knew what the issues were, I knew what I supported, and I knew what I opposed, but I just could not work up the desire to become involved, whether that meant volunteering, voting, or something as simple as wearing a campaign sticker.
I thought that was a condom.
That all changed recently. That changed when I heard the fear and hopelessness in the voices of my friends and family who had been confronted with the staggering reality of student loan debt, a reality I faced myself when I clicked apply for graduation for December 2015 on mynevada.com. That changed when I saw the treatment of women in the workplace, when I witnessed firsthand harassment, discrimination, and unequal pay doled out daily to everyone from close friends to peers and even to my own mother. That changed when I learned that the racism I experienced growing up, the schoolyard derogatory remarks, the suspicious store employees, the occasional violent and hateful threats was just the tip of a deeper, far more insidious problem, a problem deeply rooted into some of our nation's most powerful institutions, a problem that actually reached out and touched me. Senator Bernie Sanders sees these injustices and these inequities, and he has taken an unwavering stance to address each and every one of them. He listens. He has shown us that to him, Black lives matter. Women matter. Families matter. America matters. And his track record on these issues started long before this campaign began and will continue for long after. Here is a man who sees a nation struggling, a man who knows that to succeed, we must relieve what gives us tensions and strengthen those bonds that once held us close. A man who knows that this is not about one person. This is about a movement. This is about a country. This is about each and every one of us. Bernie Sanders wants to give America its voice back. A voice that isn't comprised of corporations and institutions, but is made up of every worker, every student, every person of color, every LGBTQIA person, every family, and understands that democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, and he aims to give us just that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do not make the same mistake that I did of waiting until the last moment to speak up. Become involved. Educate yourselves on the topics. Spread the word. Volunteer. Donate. And most importantly, register to vote and then vote. Now then, are you ready to start a political revolution? Nevada, please join me in showing Senator Sanders that the wolf pack feels the burn.
Thank you so much for coming out this evening. What a fantastic crowd. This is the first crowd we've ever had where people were in a parking lot. And let me thank Roxana and Melissa and Richard for their introductions. Sometimes it's hard to follow people who make these introductions because they leave very little for me to say. They said it all. But let me just begin by telling you that we've been in this race for 3.5 months. And the momentum from one end of this country to the other has been extraordinary, and that's what we're seeing here this evening. When we began this campaign all of 3.5 months ago, a lot of the media pundits were saying, you know, yeah, he's a nice guy, it's interesting, but who really is going to support the idea of a political revolution?
We are!
Turns out a whole lot of people do believe that.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
And we have had not only the largest turnouts of any campaign in Iowa and New Hampshire. We just came back from Iowa the other day. But we have had great turnouts in cities all over this country. We just came back from the West Coast last week. We were in Seattle, 15,000 people out. We were in Portland, Oregon, 28,000 people out. We were in Los Angeles, 7,000 people out. We had just a beautiful turnout here tonight. But it is not just turnouts which speak to the enthusiasm of a campaign. We are running against candidates who will receive a bulk of their money from super PACs funded by millionaires and billionaires. Well, what I have said from day one, I don't believe in the billionaire agenda. I don't believe in the corporate agenda. I don't want their money. So what we have done, instead of hustling money from billionaires, we have asked working families all over this country to contribute. And as of today, we have more individual contributors than any other campaign, almost 400,000 people. And the average contribution, $31.20. This campaign is on the move. This campaign is going to end up in victory.
Yeah! Bernie!
What this campaign is about is bringing people together. Bringing black and white and Hispanic. Bringing male and female, gay and straight. Native born and immigrant. And here's why we're going to win. Because when we all stand together, and we don't allow folks to divide us up in terms of whether we are gay or straight or black or white or Hispanic. When we stand together as one people, they can have all of the money, they can have all of the power, but when people stand together, we win. I am often asked by media and say, well, you know, why is there such enthusiasm for the campaign? Why are people so excited? And I think the answer is pretty simple. And that is that the American people are sick and tired with establishment politics.
Yeah.
They are sick and tired with establishment economics. And they are sick and tired with establishment media.
Yeah.
People of America fully understand that corporate greed is destroying our economy,
Yep.
and that it is not acceptable that almost all of the new income and all of the new wealth go to the top 1%. That's wrong. The American people understand that our politics today is dominated by big money, by millionaires and billionaires who are determining who our new senators and congressmen will be. They are buying politicians, and the American people say that is not what democracy is supposed to be about. And the American people understand that corporate media talks about everything that you can think of except the most important issues facing our country. And let me tell you how our campaign differs from other campaigns. And here's the simple reason. Yes, we have the most progressive vision, but what I will tell you is that no president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do what has to be done for the middle class and working families of our country without a political revolution. Here is the truth, and it's the truth that no other candidate will tell you. The powers that be in Washington, Wall Street, corporate America, Koch brothers, huge campaign contributors, are so powerful that no president, not the best, can do it alone unless millions of people stand up and loudly proclaim that this country and our government belong to all of us and not just a handful of billionaires. I am asking your help to elect me as president, but I'm asking more than that. I'm asking for your help during the campaign, but I am asking your help from the day after the campaign as well. When millions of people with a strong, dynamic political movement of educated, politically conscious people demand that Congress start working for working families and not just billionaires, that is when we transform America. So that is the simple truth. It's not about me, it's about all of us. It's not about electing a president, it's about transforming our country. And I can't do it alone. I'll do my role, but you have got to do your role. When you talk to your friends and they say, oh, politics, it's all crap, it's not important. You ask them why it is that the Koch brothers are going to spend $900 million on this campaign cycle if politics are not important. You ask them whether or not it's important that they have a decent job when they leave school. That's political. You ask them whether or not the climate, the planet that we leave to our kids is habitable or not. That's political. The big money interests in this country, they want young people and all Americans to think, oh, politics, that's not important. Who cares? They're all crooks. It's all irrelevant. That's what they want you to believe. That's right. Don't fall for it. If we stand together around a progressive agenda that says to the billionaire class that they cannot have it all, says to the billionaire class they're going to have to start paying their fair share of taxes. Says to the billionaire class that their greed is destroying this country. Says to the billionaire class we are no longer going to have massive levels of income and wealth inequality. Now, when we talk about the major issues facing this country, one of the fun things about running for president is that you can raise issues that the establishment would prefer not to have discussed.
Yeah! Speak on it.
And I'm going to talk about some of those issues.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off with one that has to be put squarely on the table. And that is, in this country today, we are living in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. But very few people in America understand that or feel that, because almost all of the wealth and almost all of the new income is going to the top 1%. The United States today has more income and wealth inequality than any major country on earth, and it is worse today than since 1928. Listen to this. In America today, the top 1/10 of 1%, not 1%, top 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. Today in America, one family, the Walton family, that one family owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of Americans. Today in America, in the last 2 years, listen to this, the 14 wealthiest people in this country, 14, not a lot of people, saw their wealth increase by $156 billion. 14 people in 2 years. That is more wealth than is owned collectively by the bottom 130 million Americans. Today in America, 58% of all new income is going to the top 1%.
Tax that ass.
This grotesque level, and we have to appreciate it for what it is. It is a grotesque level of income and wealth inequality, is immoral, And we
Yes.
got to use that word.
Yes.
Immoral.
It is immoral for millions of people to be working longer hours and lower wages, and almost all of the new income and wealth goes to the people on top. It is immoral that when so few have so much, the United States today has by far the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country on earth. This economy today is a rigged economy.
The game is
Very
fixed.
rich get richer, everybody else gets poorer, and you and I are going to change that. We are going to create an economy that works for working families, not just billionaires. This campaign is sending a message to the billionaire class, and that message is, you cannot have it all. You are not going to continue to get huge tax breaks when children in America go hungry. You are not going to continue to send our jobs to China and other low-wage countries when millions of Americans are in desperate need of jobs. You are not going to stash your billions in profits in the Cayman Islands and other tax havens. You are going to start paying your fair share. And when we talk about economics, it is not just the unfair distribution of wealth and income. It is the fact that for the last 40 years, the great American middle class has been disappearing.
That's too long.
In my state of Vermont, and I know in Nevada, there are people who are working not just one job. They're working 2 jobs, they're working 3 jobs, trying to gather and put together enough income and health care to take care of their families. People should not have to be working 50 or 60 hours a week. We need an economy that is based on principles that says if you work 40 hours a week, you're going to live with dignity. When we talk about the economy, it's not just income and wealth inequality. It is not just the fact that since 1999, median family income has gone down by $5,000. It is also the fact that real unemployment in America is over 10%, including those people who have given up looking for work and those millions of people who are working part-time when they want to work full-time. That's a fact. And let me tell you something else that is not talked about. We have a tragedy in this country in terms of youth unemployment. Not talked about. It is real. I asked the Economic Policy Institute to do a study for me looking at kids between 17 and 20 who graduated high school. This is what they found. For kids who are white, real unemployment and underemployment, 33%.
Boo.
For kids who are Hispanic, 36%. For kids who are African American, 51%. We have turned our backs on millions of young people who want to leave their homes, earn a living, become independent. And what we have today is 5.5 million young people all across our country, not working, not in school, often hanging out on street corners, sometimes getting into trouble. Brothers and sisters, one of the great scandals of our country today is that we have more people in jail than any other country. More people. China is an authoritarian communist country 3-4 times our size. We have more people in jail than China does. To me, it makes a lot more sense for us to be investing in education and jobs.